quick meeting. I see, Khalid, you made a comment you didn't see. I just recently sent out a link to just the article folder, and I wanted to make sure you apparently don't see it or it didn't work.
Yeah, it is. I sent a request for access.
Oh, okay. Sometimes that okay, I'll certainly answer it, but uh, you know, some of
Yeah,
these
I got.
things it has a mind of its own. We try to click and say access to anything, blah blah blah, and still
Okay. Yeah, it still asks for the access.
okay.
Hey, Kaylee. Hey,
Hi,
Kathleen.
how are you?
I'm very well, fine. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
hi there. Hi, Kaylee.
Hi.
Hey, Barbara.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. It's a long time. Didn't see you.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
COVID has changed a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay. So Khalid, it didn't give him immediate access. I don't know why, but I'll make sure the settings are right. Anybody else tried to? I just sent it out an hour ago, so I don't know if anybody tried to open up that folder that's your category.
Yeah, it worked fine for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Okay. I'll see what's the issue with the other. And I just gave viewer access, and that should be enough, just so we don't mistakenly change or delete. They're all PDFs, so we can't change anything in the articles.
Yeah.
So they're a huge array, very interesting things to see. Hi, Caitlin. A few people said that they aren't making it, but we'll send anything different that comes out of our discussion. But certainly, I wanted to make sure that we have access, so it's not 100%, but some are. So it's a couple of days overdue for straightening out between myself and Barbara, making sure that assignments are correct and some issues with from the teachers that some files were, because of their size, didn't completely upload, and some of them we didn't get the cover. We had to, and Barbara responded back to the teachers to get the other pieces of things. So that's we know that that comes a struggle. The last uh, that's kind of comes with managing this, as Barbara's done for so many years. And we appreciate, of course, everybody's input that makes it this such a high quality event and special for the students. Uh, let's see. And so fortunately, hey, Jonathan. So it was great that Lords just responded earlier today that she is available. She always was part of the medicine health category and really gave great input, as everyone does. So she'll be on the medicine team, so that now it's perfectly balanced, 3 for each category. I did check with James, who's going to do 2. He's actually at a sports awards dinner at his school tonight, so he said he couldn't make it. So it is a great kind of balance, and it's fun to see one another's take on these aspiring writers and thinkers, and how they manage their time at the end of the year. They're most of these are, pretty high high school students from freshmen all the way to seniors. And you know, it's nice that it's hard to see. We can't really identify, and we shouldn't, what stage of their high school they're in, but they're you know, it's either either the teacher is requiring it as an assignment, as my case, I made it their year-end project, and or it could be a chemistry club or a science club or a STEM club that they make the teams and submit their submissions. So assessing articles, of course, that's a main thing I want to get straightened out for everybody. Now, the each team has from 6 to 8, so it's pretty balanced in terms of the number of articles you're looking at. The essays have a little more organizing them, and then you'll have access to that. The essays are just a reflection, fairly short, not more than a page in general, that they reflect on a couple of questions, as many of you know, from each year. We do have one new member, Marja is, and I don't see her on the call yet, but she'll certainly have great input. And George and Lisa, they said they just can't make it. So you get, as in previous years, spreadsheet with the rubric, and you see the scores to score out of, and then it will come up with a number out of 50. And when you're completed with that one spreadsheet that has all the articles, then that you submit. I'll compile them, and then I'll send it back to you, three of you, to just to assure that you all agree or have a discussion around who's you know, what's the number one, number two, mainly, of the submissions. Scoring rubric. Okay. Now, of course, everybody has taken into account a little more of what we get from the web, and now tools, artificial intelligence, and that sort of thing. So it's definitely used in schools. We as teachers have to try to manage that and point out blatant or ask questions about things that just don't sound like a student writing for the assignment. And you certainly could make that call. You can, you know, do your own rating as far as you think that the teams really did write in that manner, and without giving any reference to any other source. Word count, just looking at these, they're all falling you know, from 1,000 to 2,000. Nothing is too huge that we're worried about. You can look at that, but I wouldn't worry about a word count. They all generally fall into not being too long, and if they're too short, it's going to come off as being not really too thorough. Your feedback is super valuable. If you have comments to make, positive critiques, congratulation, any kind of comments are great. There's a place for that in the spreadsheet. Timeline, saying try to target Saturday the 14th. See how things are going, if things come up, because we'd like to, and Barbara will discuss a little more about that. Just have a few slides here, and Barbara will talk from the next one.
Andy,
Yeah, go ahead.
you want to pause for questions
Yeah,
on
right.
anything that you just covered?
Yes, certainly.
Because the access, we have to make sure the judges have access. So if they have any issues, I saw a message from Lorraine about a different email, maybe associated from a prior year.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay. Yeah, it's the Gmail, right, Lorraine? I made a mistake. One, I saw the org popped up.
Yeah, no, I'm fine this year, but last year there was some
Oh.
confusion, and that's why. So I was wondering if maybe Khalid had an issue
Oh.
because there was
Oh.
more than one account and it wasn't giving him access through the account he was trying to access it through. That's all.
Yeah,
So for me, I'm fine, but it was just an idea of maybe why he's having an issue.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure. I'll see what if there's another email from that we've corresponded back and forth when when you agreed to be to volunteer again this year, that they use that email. Jonathan, did you have a chance to check that link and to open up the folder of articles?
So yeah, I probably need to, I think we used my Gmail last time, and so I'll forward that to you. I can get the rubric, no problem.
Okay.
But
All right. Oh, so I didn't use the right email, I guess. Okay.
yeah, but I'll send it over to you. I didn't get a chance to check because
Okay.
I was at a show. But
Yeah. Okay.
I'll do that.
Any other comments about AI and what's your thought about reading other people's work and um, Lorraine, Kaylin, anybody have other comments about other students' work and use of AI? All right. Well, this summer, I'm sure, like we have, I have one more week, and then we have training week. I'm sure most schools training week there will be at least a day dedicated to how we're progressing, what's our thoughts, what's our wisdom on AI and in the classroom.
I have a comment. It turns out in the last 2 weeks, I went to 4 different presentations from 4 different disciplines on the topic of AI, included this morning, I started with medical grand rounds at Robert Wood Johnson. You can see I'm wearing my shirt. And it was somebody from Denver who's involved with ethics and AI. And I learned a few interesting things there. You may have heard from the television, there was a network program over the weekend that talked about a student at John Jay in New York City in criminal justice who was falsely accused of using AI, and he was threatened with suspension, and he was an honest student. So these programs, as I learned when I was at the Mid-Atlantic ACS meeting that was at Seton Hall last week, I attended a special workshop that the committee that I'm on for National ACS was sponsored, a communications program focused on AI. We learned that the programs the checking is getting so refined. The person said better, but I would call it refined, that it's false positives. There's a lot of false positives, and that's what happened to this unfortunate student. So it's a danger, so the way I can also tell you, I went to one on pharmacy, had one this afternoon, and that I do for my continuing education for my pharmacy license. And it's very powerful, could be used like something all of us can use called open evidence. and they have an agreement that New England Journal of Medicine will be their trusted source of information. So I tested it out at the prompting of my son, the physician, uh, and because I had a question and I tested it out. It's very fast. Of course, it was accurate. It was a simple question, but everybody has access to it. So it's out there. It's only 2 years old. But they say in 2 more years, it's going to be just so pervasive. And unfortunately, regulations are probably never going to catch up with the rate of development of AI. So what do we do? I have not gotten involved with the teachers. I figured, and this is kind of this is more philosophy. Anybody wants to add their comments? They handle it the way they handle their students for every other assignment in their class. And this is why we work with a small group, relatively, it's never been more than 7 schools, and they're all local in New Jersey. We develop a relationship. That's, the role that I have is to foster these relationships with the schools and the teachers, so that we trust each other. They'll tell me if they suspect anything. They're very honest. I could tell you from past experience before AI existed. This school, so that's how we handle it. And there's a lot to do with trust. So if anybody else has a comment about AI, love to hear it.
Well, hey, I'm Khalid here. So I think AI is no different than any other technology which came about previously. For example, there was a case, a situation before, let's say 20 years ago, when there was not even internet. So we have to go through the journals and copy, paste. Uh, People will write introductions in their articles, and some introductions and some discussions are better than the other. So there was a chance that people would copy them. So no, AI actually, the way I look at it, is a very good tool to get the information at your hands. However, one should not just paste it, copy and paste it. One should digest it and then write down in their own words or in this summarized form. So it saves time on research, but it's beyond that. I think that's where we are questioning here. Is it okay to just copy and paste? That's not okay, obviously, but then it's a good tool to get the information. I think the people over time in the next 2 years, as you said, Barbara, this thing will improve so much, and it will become so powerful. It's very difficult, almost impossible to ignore it.
Right.
Yeah. For students though, with younger students through high school, we have to kind of let them have that kind of internal wisdom that cutting and pasting without letting it go through our mind is worthless and is not
Yeah.
valuable, and so they have to build that inner kind of thinking,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the philosophy where teachers are trying to think about, and how do we do that? We don't want to, of course, limit, because yes, it's a wonderful tool. And I use it in some ways for developing questions and that kind of thing. It is very effective for things.
I mean, writing a memo is fantastic. I mean, it gives you in 2 seconds the whole memo. You don't
Okay.
even.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to give you one anecdote that just happened this past week. So I mentioned the committee that I'm on. I guess I got known for rubrics because I was asked to lead development of a rubric for an awards
Mhm.
actually, plural, that the National ACS has. And was really grappling with the issue. They were trying to adapt something from that another committee used, and it just didn't feel right. It was too granular. And what the award was measuring was, more like qualitative things of service. So because I had just finished grant reviews, um, and this was for a pharmacology society that I have belonged to my whole professional life. We were using an adaptation of an NIH style of evaluation. They don't call it a rubric, they call it a scoring system. Very simple, like 8 criteria, with overall impact being one of them. And I realized we needed to have bigger buckets, and so we developed a rubric. But because I went to that AI session at the MARM, the Mid Atlantic ACS, I thought, well, maybe we should be using AI to see if there's a rubric out there. And it
Yeah.
was, you know, I was I've always been skeptical, but I realized, the prompts are so important. If you don't have a good prompt, it's like anything else, right? If you don't ask, I know as a consultant, you have to ask the right question. You have to start with the right question. So it's all about the prompt. I figured if I have to do that much thinking, I have a group of smart people in the working group, we could develop our own rubric. So, and then I thought of the NIH, put that together, my, critical problem solving skills that I developed because I didn't use AI in my lifetime, didn't exist. And the working group is very happy with it, and now we're trial testing it. So, this will be, we'll continue to stay in touch, about AI. And if you come across something interesting, welcome to share it with the group, and so we can all learn together.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and so in the articles you're going to read from students from 9th to 12th grade, certainly, no doubt, a lot of them, maybe most of them, have checked their thoughts and things with some sort of AI algorithm. But it's really want to hear that they thought about it and constructed it, and not leave it up to just something, because some responses from AI you may have seen are kind of ridiculous. With Chemagination is imagination. It's thinking about very hopeful things coming together, and we want to see that in what they've come out with. Again, the gist of it, they're writing in 2050, and as reporters or as the scientists, I see that some of them are putting themselves as a scientist group that made this connection, this clever mending of disciplines and things to solve a problem. And they're describing how that has come about, the timeline getting there, the difficulties, the challenges, how they work to put together things that weren't obvious, that weren't solved originally, that currently are kind of dreams, and you'll see a lot of good work there. So hope you enjoy going through there and going through their reading and being good judges and critiques and giving comments. So Barbara will comment here about what you have here.
Yeah, so this was the nice submissions that we got, and the summary of the numbers. This is just exactly what, we're at our peak. I found over the years, and I've been doing this for 15 years as a lead, but before that as a judge, and before that as a parent of one of the submissions. So it turns out that this is the right spot, because I mentioned how fairness is also very important, and you see we keep the same, as much as we can, the same 3 people are constant for a given subject, so that kind of balances things out. We have a maximum per category that helps balance things out. We have motivated teachers, again, those relationships really important, where they want more. And we expanded it from the original 4. There were 4 categories. And I said, no, proteins are so important going forward. I know from drug development and discovery. it was nearly 10 years ago, we added proteins as a category to allow so many of the students who were interested in the medicine health category that we could have more of them branching into proteins. So that's why we have we've created this balance. You know, I've been watching every year and looking at the trends, and this seems to be optimal. I've always said, I mentioned it last year, 40 is about our maximum capacity, the way we construct it right now. Otherwise, we'd have to do business differently. I'm very grateful for the judges. You're wonderful, and I'm so glad that you continue to find this meaningful activity, that you are, again, participating. That's everybody on this call. And almost every, you know, we just have one or two new people. We have one new school this year. They don't always follow the rules, but let them get some experience with it, see if they get excited about it. And that's how you build. You build slowly. You know, some schools will catch on and then they'll become a dominant school in time, and others will just fall to the wayside. So that's why there's 6 high schools. I was expecting 5, but we got a surprise, and I said, sure, you know, we'll include them. So that's everything that I had to say here, and it's amazingly well balanced. I don't know if you have that. Randy mentioned some statistics, but it's actually no more than 9 per category, it's just perfect. So I know from having been a judge, you get to a certain point where it's just a little bit too much as far as time. I like to do things, you know, more or less in maybe 2 sessions for fairness and grading. So that's what I have to say. If anybody has any questions, I'll see if I have an answer for you.
No, that's great. Thank you very much, Barb, for taking care of this for so long. I know at
Yeah,
least 11 years I know you guys.
Yeah,
it's been something that yeah, our section has really annually, where we have some bumps and things with other events and things, but this is one of the keystone events. So that's my class. They're doing a poster session the way we used to do tomorrow in school, inviting the whole school to,
Hmm.
and they are making a big poster of their of their article and thoughts, freshmen and sophomores. So you have this. I'll make sure that everybody has this also. This is the detailed rubric. Is just from ideal on the left to the right. And the numbers aren't in this one, as Barbara mentioned. This has been refined, and she's been refining it over the years. The thing we're expecting now with that we're mentioning about AI, they should have even better grip on resources. And in the classroom, if they want an article from a journal, I get it from them. So they look at peer-reviewed journals that they can't access by themselves, and it's great that they're curious to look at primary references. So we're looking for five or more resources.
right. That's a change this year.
And some kind of consistent matter, mentioning them either throughout the text on the bottom or at the end. And so that's something that you have a column to evaluate them on, that clarity, the cover. They're doing some amazing things with the cover art. I watched a student just and it said, "Can we use AI tools for the cover art? It's here. We're going to make a decision and everything." I said, "Okay." And I'm sure that most of the covers are done that way. There's amazing programs, so I think we can. Teamwork and that sort of thing is from their explanations in the essay. That's where we kind of get a number for that column and an overall. And so this is familiar. This is the spreadsheet that you'll get. I'll put in the art for all your articles with the numbers, so they're numbered for your category. This is M for medicine, etc., E environment. And then you have the numbers here at a 5, at a 4, at a 2, and finally a total at the end. And then so you'll send this. I'll compile them and give them back and see if the three of you agree or want to have maybe a discussion of the first and second, if there's some opinions around that, or you just say, yeah, that looks great, that looks good, that looks like the best, or otherwise. So years past, many of you would remember we'd have us go into a room, a huddle room, and do all this discussion and spreadsheets when we did this live in Frick Atrium. Maybe that'll come back.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then the big picture from up the stairway down to
Yeah.
all the
Yep.
kids and
Classic.
so I think that's all. So see if that time frame, 9 or 10 days to space it out. I'll make sure I'll get out the essays for you to be also looking at, give you that access to the folder, to the essays tomorrow, and filling out this spreadsheet. This is probably the first thing I'll get to you, just filling in the names and having a consistent
Okay.
sheet that everybody has their own to complete. And then I'll ask, maybe tomorrow, making sure that everybody has access to the folders and this spreadsheet.
Of course. Thank you. I have a suggestion for Barb. You have a rubrics, right, which you showed earlier, and we talked about AI. So I suggest, just as an experiment, take this document PDF of rubric and put in the AI and ask him it to make it simplified version of this rubric, which is more understandable and more comprehensive, and see what it does.
Okay. I use Claude. I don't know what everybody uses. We could do that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I started using ChatGPT, and then now is a Perplexity. So
Yeah.
I mean, no, there are too many of them.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a student's father come into our